They don't teach us anything in school that we can use. Number one, I disagree. Number two, you don't know what you're talking about. Welcome back to Teacher Tales, where we give you the keys to overcoming teacher burnout to find a work-life balance and educational bliss if it still exists. I'm your host, Tony Rambles, and on this episode of Teacher Tales, we'll discuss an article from theconversation.com titled, "What Should Be Taught by Teachers and What by Parents?" published in 2015, January 26th. There's always this back and forth about what we educators should be teaching, so let's see what the journalists say, and I'll share my thoughts as well, so that we can beat burnout together. The school year is closing in, and we are back, which means we'll have students soon, and we'll also have parents soon, and what inevitably comes with that is people telling us educators what we should and shouldn't be teaching. So I picked up this article from theconversation.com, and it was created to showcase academic rigor and journalistic flair. I really like that, so I wanted to add it here in the episode. But it's titled, "What Should Be Taught by Teachers and What by Parents?" So it breaks down into three sections. What are the lessons that are the primary responsibility at home? What should we expect our children to learn at school? And are there other settings in which teaching and learning take place? So those are the sections, and of course I'll add my thoughts along the way. So it starts off, who taught you to tell the time, to tie your shoelace, or to write your name? I have memories of my parents and teachers taking a hand in helping me to learn these skills as a small child. But what about more challenging tasks? Who taught you to analyze a poem or to solve equations? Mr. Williamson, my favorite teacher, taught the principles of algebra to our class and patiently went over the information until it started to make some sense to all of us. I also remember my parents encouraging me to practice what I was learning in class and to try different approaches when the first solution didn't work. So who was doing the teaching in this instance? Mr. Williamson or my parents? I would say both. Mr. Williamson had the knowledge and expertise that allowed him to present complex information in ways that matched my capacity for learning. That is a great sentence. Continuing on. My parents, on the other hand, knew that I would benefit from learning to persist in the face of difficult problems. Okay, that is the introduction. I think that was a great example, and so we'll continue on. What lessons are the primary responsibility of the home? Parents are typically a child's first teachers. Initially, their focus is on helping very young children to communicate and with age to become increasingly independent, encouraging physical accomplishments such as walking and catching a ball, holding a cup, and using cutlery. Parents are also instrumental in teaching a range of social skills, including taking turns, greeting others, and remembering to say please and thank you. Information related to personal hygiene and sex education is also based in the home. Parents are regarded as important role models in terms of the ensuing behavior of their children. A stimulating home learning environment in which the value of education is reinforced by parents and in which educational resources that support learning are available is integral to the intellectual and social development of children. Here's where I jump in. The home life is obviously very, very important. And when there is, what does this say? Stimulating home learning, that means that kids are learning at home and typically from their parents or whoever they live with. That could be grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, whoever that might be. These people are encouraging and pushing learning so that it is something that is valued by the child. So these things are very important because once they get to school, there have been years of an example or a culture created at home that is going to impact how the student sees learning once they get to elementary school and henceforth. So let's continue on. While parents may be responsible for establishing knowledge base in these and other areas and encouraging related behaviors, teachers are influential in reinforcing and extending these behaviors within the school context. So that baseline level of education or learning or social behaviors that those kids learn at home, those things are then extended and reinforced once they get to school if they're being taught the correct things or the things that will make you successful as you grow older and mature and get better, hopefully, in life. So it's the teacher's job to build upon what the parents have said, if they've said anything, because we know that not all homes are alike. So, continuing. With children spending 6 hours each day at school, teachers in the classroom actively encourage many behaviors that have been prompted within the home, such as expectations of fair play and respect for others. In other instances, such as a knowledge of the body and an understanding of sexuality, the curriculum provides detailed information and opportunities for investigation and discussion that extend children's understandings in the formal environment of school. So we know that parents did not go to school to become educators. They didn't go to school to teach history, or they didn't go to school to teach communications like myself, or health, or math, or any of these subjects that we teach in school, unless, of course, your parents or parent is a teacher. But even then, they have knowledge in one subject, unless, of course, there are exceptions where you have these parents that are amazing, they're super smart, and they know a lot of different stuff about a lot of different stuff. Most of the time, parents are just there to kind of give you a base, right? Just a little bit, and to help to talk about the things that you are learning. Like, think about new math. Parents nowadays, they don't have that base in new math. That's why we're seeing so many issues with parents being able to help their kids, because the base has been changed. The foundation has been changed. The rules are different. So it is up to the teachers to extend children's understanding in the formal environment of school. That's what the teacher's job is. Now, let's continue on to the next section. What should we expect our children to learn at school? Instruction in the 3 R's, as well as teaching across areas specified by the national curriculum, are key items for teachers. For example, learning to read and write to develop skills in numeracy, to gain an appreciation of the arts and science, and to understand our place in the world from the perspectives of other people's values and beliefs. However, the expertise of teachers goes well beyond simply knowing which information to present to students. Good teachers understand how to pace their teaching to match the learning trajectory of their students, and how to encourage their students to go beyond their current capacity and to fulfill their potential. So again, we just take you from 1 or 2 and get you to 4 and 5. And then as the next grades go along, get you to 6 and 7, 8, 9, 10, to whatever number this thing goes to. So it's very important that we support our educators and what they're trying to teach our children. At the very least, be abreast of the information that is being disseminated unto your kids. Look on their learning, what is that called? The LMS, the learning management system. There we go. Whatever they're using, whether it's Canvas or Blackboard or Schoology. There's tons of them out there. Whatever they're using, more often than not, parents have access to those. So it's important that we as teachers, my fellow educators, encourage them to check our facts and figures and our reading materials. Go look at it so that you can support your children. Because I know that when I put things together, projects, whatever assignments or quizzes, I'm doing the best I can with the expertise and knowledge that I have. And I believe that good teachers are also continuing to stay up to date on their practices and on the information in their field. And we know that parents are not doing that. Parents have their own jobs and their own expertise that they have to keep up with. So they're not looking at what the new math is, what the new reading material, what the new history is being taught. So there are so many different factors that go on here. So we will get to the last section of the article. Are there other settings in which teaching and learning take place? Obviously, the answer is yes. The answer is undoubtedly yes. We learn in many different locations. In addition to the home and school, and our teachers encompass a wide variety of people. Teaching and learning not only involve more players than we may typically imagine, but as individuals, we also contribute to what others learn. This is that part where they say it takes a village. And so sometimes that village is a church, that village is a community center, that village is other people in the home, other people that you visit, aunts, uncles, there could be cousins, right? The village consists of so many people, and we are all teachers and learners in multiple capacities. Continuing on, parents and community members contribute to the attitudes, expectations, and aspirations of children. I got to jump in here right now and say that as educators, we are just hoping that parents care enough about education to push their children to be better and to study and to learn and have education as a top priority, to aspire to be lifelong learners. Okay, continuing. These factors frequently determine the extent to which students will engage in the learning opportunities that are provided in the classroom setting. But the expertise of teachers and their work in the classroom is pivotal in terms of children's learning, education, and development. So teachers, we have to continue to push ourselves as well. We have to continue to come up with those learning experiences and those activities. And as an aside, stop spending so much money. Try to figure out what we can do with what we have. Unless you just got it like that. That's a different story altogether. But the beginning of the school year is coming. I see a lot of teachers that have spent hundreds of dollars on their classroom. And I couldn't imagine. But if you can, if you are able, if you have the resources, lean on whatever the school is providing, whatever you can get from other teachers, whatever resources you can share so that you're not breaking the bank just to provide something that may or may not be totally needed. Okay, I know that there are different situations out there, but just be mindful. Continuing. In addition to academic achievement, formal education supports the development of capacities that include self-regulation, self-confidence, resilience, determination, and aspirations for the future. Essential skills that we all encourage for success in the 21st century must be taught in the classroom and reinforced at home, and vice versa. While both parents and teachers are influential, albeit in different ways, as far as children's learning is concerned, education is a shared responsibility. Schools, friends, families, and communities all play a unique but complementary role to one another. That is a great article by Gemma Ware, who is the host of the Conversation Weekly podcast as well. Hopefully. This article came out in 2015. I thought about saying, it's 9 years old, but I feel like the information was relevant. It makes sense even for today because there's always going to be this hand holding that we all need to have with one another between teachers, parents, and children. They're not off the hook in this, especially as they get older. They have the wherewithal, the awareness to be able to say, I think we could do this to enhance the learning. I know I co-construct stuff all the time with my kids because we're teaching in high school, so it's a little bit different, but we all play a pivotal role in education, in helping our students, our kids, our lovely children get better and become the people that they want to be. So that is our episode for today. Of course, I will have another educator on this Thursday. That is going to be Dr. O, and we are going to talk about curriculum. She's an awesome educator. She's done so many great things in education. I had her on the show before, and when I thought about curriculum, I thought about Dr. O. At least that's one person I thought about. But because you enjoyed this episode, we have more details and more excellent tips on burnout and time management on the Teacher Triumphs Facebook group. This is where we share applicable strategies and encourage each other on the journey through education. Until the next time, keep teaching, keep learning, and I will see you all on the next journey.